10,755 pounds. This Cardinal here looks to have been very well maintained by the previous ownership. I see active preventative care and maintenance. It is clean inside and outside. They added the slide awnings. This was definitely something that they used for a long time, basically, until they were ready just to update. But they certainly got their time and money's worth out of this one, and I think it's something, there's still tons of life left in this thing. It's not like they used it up until it was ready to die. You're going to be happy with what you see here. And man, back in this thing's heyday, this was the big dog floor plan of the business. There are so many of these still in the used market of this floor plan, not just from Cardinal, but like we'll see a similar floor plan from the Jayco Eagle called the 291 RLTS come in the used lineup every now and then. This was most definitely a very popular floor plan because it was one of the first that offered this dual opposing, spacious, cavernous living room slide out system right here before island kitchens really came into play. However, it does still have this big countertop over here, so when you close the slides come so close together, you're really not going to get through to the living area. That's why I've bypassed having it closed for now. Coming downstairs, I mean, what's funny is it kind of smells a little bit like maple syrup in here. I'm not so sure. Maybe they didn't do some, pancake and French toast breakfasts or something like that. But very classic, big fifth wheel features, but with a bunch of the touches that really made Cardinal stand out, in the peak of its popularity. Like the extra skylight above here. That full overhead storage is a classic feature you don't typically see today. You will often find bigger windows instead of storage. Those are both nice features. It's just kind of it's just interesting how the market has said, nope, we prefer bigger windows instead of storage over time. Anyway, all the windows are also going to open for airflow, including the windows next to those rear recliners back there. Now, it's a bit early in the morning. I'm playing some severe catch-up after being out of the office for a couple days. So, pardon a little bit lack of light here. Little details too, like the dining table has a couple little hooks to hold those chairs in place on the road, so you don't have to strap them down. Just little touches like that were really nice at Cardinal. Kind of like you have a little desk drawer in that table over there. Little details that seem to have been lost to time, and we'll talk about a couple of those as we go. Traditional innerspring hide-a-bed sleeper sofa, and this is one of the few of these Cardinal triple slides I've seen that looks to have all original factory furniture still present and accounted for. A lot of them have lost their furniture over time. But one of the other things this does, and I've already kind of hinted at it up here, is this thing has an amazing amount of storage even without that kitchen island. I don't even think it needs it. I also like to note that all these flip-up overhead doors here in the slide area, they're self-strutted, so you don't have to do the head juggle method. Now, all your cabinet door frames are going to be a hardwood, and all of your cabinet door styles are pocket screwed. That's not terribly uncommon construction by today's standards in fifth wheels, but when this was first produced, that was not always the case. Even in this class and category. Now, over here, the reason I really like to open these up is to help give you a sense of depth and scale in those overhead cabinets within the slide out. Because when they're closed, it's very easy to kind of lose track of how much storage we're really looking at here. But once, like I said, this is a non-island floor plan, and a lot of people like the islands for the extra storage they bring to the table. I don't believe this thing needs it. I mean, they did such a good job of just packing in drawers and cabinet doors and everything in every nook and cranny, and I love it. I'm a sucker for things like this where the storage opens up to you instead of you reaching for the storage. I've always liked that. What do we have here? 7 drawers? Within reach of the sink, you can reach up to 7 drawers in this thing. That's pretty darn good. Now, for prep space, you've got this whole chunk of space here. And look at this. Somebody kept the original little, what I call hit list, meaning here's the really neat features that we're really proud of on this Cardinal from the original dealership where they purchased it. They kept that. That is a good indicator to me that these are people who also kept their RV in good shape and working order. Now, a little detail thing, this extra chunk of countertop space to the right of that stove right there is awesome because most of us are right-handed. I believe, 85 to 90% of us anyway. And so when we're stirring stuff on the stove, we are inclined to put stuff to the right of the stove. It's nice to have a chunk of space there. Now, this is the standard RV microwave, but this was built to accommodate a convection microwave upgrade if you're interested. Maybe that's something we could look at for you here at Haylett RV. Now, along with all the prep space, note the location of the appliance outlets. That is not easy to do on a laminated sidewall because you have to run wiring through the wall. So that's really extra attention to detail the Cardinal folks put into this when it was first built. Now your sinks. It's easy to call that the big and the small sink, but that is what you'd normally call a big sink in most campers. So that's like an XL sink or a double XL or whatever you want to call it. You get the idea. It's a bigger sink. Now, there's also this nice little entry stand right here, which is very handy for being able to like set down your phone and your keys and stuff when you first walk into the camper. Although, a little tip from your Uncle Josh when you are set up at shop, maybe shove like a pool noodle or something in there, because if your keys slide off the back of that, between the slide and the stand, you're going to be, cussing mad. Now over here, we've got extra storage above and below the TV entertainment area. And the previous owners went through and did upgrade the TV system from the original, like, tube-ish style TV. But what's cool is they left all the original hardware here. So let's see if I can get my hand on this thing. If you want to pull this TV out, of course, when I pull it on just one side, it twists. Well, aren't I just failing left and right here? There you go. Get my hand under this thing. TV can come out and twist back and forth. Maybe not my most successful demonstration ever, but I think eventually we got there. And that's kind of camping, It's not about the journey, it's about the destination. Now, this is a big, wide open chunk of real estate down there, so if you are looking to update and upgrade and expand your entertainment options, maybe to more modern Blu-ray stuff, you've got all the room in the world to do that without, making it look terrible with an ugly scraggle full of cables here. Now, you can see how this sofa slid way up here against this dining table, and there's all this room over there. Sofa free floats. It might have scooted around in trains a little bit. Push it back so you got more room for your chairs. You're going to be good to go. I'm a sucker for silly stuff like this. I like gadgets. I love this little perfect place to, keep a couple tools or a flashlight or something right next to the entry door. That's smart to me. Now, this was made when split bath, open concept bed and bath combinations were the dominant force in the RV industry. And you don't tend to see this a lot today, but the reason that they did it is it allowed them to keep the RV nearly 2 feet shorter versus a more traditional, by today's standards, separate bathroom and bedroom. But what you are still benefiting from up here is a 70 by 80 king bed with the dual side breeze window. So you do have the bigger bed, you've got full front wall storage here, and you've got just a whole generous bunch of bedroom storage around the entertainment center here, which is interesting because this is something right here I have also seen diminish in more modern campers, is you'll still often get like a 4-drawer dresser right here, but all the extra cabinetry around it tends to not be present anymore. I've never seen a Cardinal that's not 50 amp service. I believe that was always standard on them. So you should be able to put a second air in there, and we can help you with that at Haylett RV. Your main air on this, though, is going to be a 15,000 BTU. That was just one of those things on Cardinals. So one of the cool parts about a split bath is that you get a bigger vanity, you get more sink space, and you got plenty of floor space here. So when you get out of the shower, when you've got all the room in the world where you can stretch out, you can, put on a pair of pants, you can get yourself dried off. Now, in case you're curious, we do have a privacy curtain right here so that at night, if you have a guest on that hide-a-bed, like a grandkid, they don't have to come in and visibly look at you sleeping, because that's creepy and weird. And over here in the bathroom, I kind of noted how everything was very nice, very clean in here, even the Max Air vent fan. So not only does this have the better vent fan, but they also kept it clean, meaning they pulled that screen down and occasionally cleaned those blades off. And that is something nearly no one does. And if that's the kind of care and maintenance they put into this fifth wheel, then that's a very good indicator that this is one you probably want to put behind your truck. Outside here at ground level, I really haven't seen anything that gives me any kind of pause. We're going to actually take a trip up onto the roof at the very end here. One thing I did note, just some, again, really nice detail work. Not only do we have a good size full pass-through storage here, but you've got an easy reach battery disconnect around your TV hookups, and I love this little sliding panel to be able to access some of your mechanical type stuff. Instead of having to unscrew and drop a wall panel, they actually kind of purpose-built something in to make longevity, care, maintenance, etc. easy. Now, one of the things I look for on older fifth wheels, just to give you guys an idea, if you're not going to buy this one, that's fine. Here's something to look for. Right here, where the gooseneck meets the body, I like to see if there's a little bubble in the fiberglass right there, which means that structurally she ain't what she used to be, because it's kind of bent or buckled a little bit, and a little bit's fine, a little bit ain't gonna kill you. But I noticed on this one, there's no such bubble, there's no such buckle. This thing is as rock solid today as it ever was, meaning this thing was built heavy duty. Heavy duty. Now, you've probably, and I mentioned it earlier, but there's protective slide awnings on here, and looking at the coloration of the hardware there versus the rest of the RV, that kind of indicates to me that those were a more recent addition, because they are not yellowed by sun exposure whatsoever. So those are something that looks fairly new on this. Now, one of the things I wanted to look at, because again, it's one of those easy to miss details, and this is something that they kind of pulled this page out of the playbook from their sister, cousin, whatever you want to call it, the Cedar Creek, with this corrugated underbelly enclosure. That is one of the most ridiculously rugged things down there. You are gonna have to like directly hit that thing with a hammer to try to have enough force and power to cause any sort of debris damage. Whoa! We just opened the slide out yesterday, and if you're squeamish, maybe look away. Huge spider web here overnight. Granted, that's not this. Oh, how you doing, lady? How you doing, Miss Spider? I'll leave you alone, Charlotte. Don't worry. You keep eating those mosquitoes, and you keep me malaria free. Thank you, hon. Anyway, wow, man, that thing was busy overnight. Anyway, so where was I? Dual front and rear caps. Not a guarantee, but often an indicator that you're looking at a better product. That is something where occasionally I have seen a dollar cheaper brand, kind of what we call put lipstick on a pig, you know, but it's still a pig. That's certainly not the case here. I have a lot of respect for this brand. This is something that's very respectable, well built. At one point, we were actually looking at Cardinals to see if we wanted to add them to our lineup. They didn't quite fit within our mix here, but only because we already had other things that kind of did the job. So it's a brand we would happily represent if we didn't already have certain other things in place, really. Oop, I got to jack John and I kind of lost my train of thought there. One thing I wanted to demonstrate is the gleam, the sheen, the lack of fade on the sidewalls and everything here. Once again, this was very well kept and regularly cleaned and UV protected, and you know, so you're not looking at something that's had excessive sun and weather exposure and checking. Now overall, I'm all right with the roof. I don't see anything here that really concerns me. Looks like the owners did a reasonable job of regular care, maintenance, and upkeep. I did notice the little wrap over aluminum extrusion that kind of helps lash the sidewall and the roof panels together has kind of popped down here, but nothing is leaked. Everything's solid. I think that is probably a symptom of an RV that had been towed a fair amount, but man, did these guys really take care of it if that was the case. The Max Air roof covers are just one of those popular fan favorites. The seals have definitely been touched at one point, although, even though they're okay right now, I would say within a year, and frankly guys, I recommend as soon as possible, when you start to see the little cracks and crevices like this, that's when you want to take a little bead of touch-up sealant and just kind of touch around those. And then if it progresses further, that's when you need to do a full peel and seal. But you can actually see original versus replaced sealant right here. So they have done at least one full peel and seal on this roof at some point. Max Air vent fan for the bathroom for the better airflow. Upgraded to the modern King Jack digital and analog antenna system here. And overall, I mean, even the slide awning covers look pretty good. I can see that the slides were left out and this thing was used quite a bit. But again, often RVs that are used more seem to be maintained more because the people are physically touching the trailer with greater frequency, and it's not one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of things that can plague so many campers. So overall, I'm happy with what I see here. As long as you know that you're gonna have to do a couple little touch-ups, I would recommend sooner than later on that. But if you went the remainder of this season, it'd be okay. I wouldn't let it sit outside in the Michigan winter with the beginnings of those seal cracks, because again, you're fine now, but you let some water get in there and freeze and expand a couple times, and then you'll have a problem. Overall, I think she's fine. So, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV deliveries, or anything in between, we do it all at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.